guys, welcome back to Lily Reads. In today's video, we are going to be reading some young adult contemporary. Here is the thing. Over the past, I would say 4 years, I have really fallen in love with young adult contemporary. I was one of the people who kind of got off the YA bandwagon before a lot of people. A lot of content creators that I used to watch in the 2010s, they were reading a lot of YA books, YA fantasy, YA science fiction, YA contemporary, YA romance, a lot of young adult books. And I kind of left that phase. I started reading like literary fiction. I just started to move in a more mature reading route. And so I gave up on reading young adult books. I would say from the age of like 15 to like 22, I never read any young adult books. I thought young adult books was played. But a big reason why I didn't like reading young adult books, it was so hard to find young adult books that were geared towards Black people and the plight of Black young children and the stuff that Black young people were doing. Like all of these books had white people, and I'm sorry, I don't want to read about no white kids. Like it just something that just didn't appeal to me, and I just thought there was a really big blind spot, and so I kind of shifted away. But in recent years, the past 4 or 5 years, with books like The Hate U Give and stuff like that, you have seen this influx of Black YA contemporary. You can go into your bookstore and see so many books about Black young adults. And so I started to gravitate towards them because it just reminds me of a youthfulness, a joy in my life. And so I want to start off this Black History Month in blogs reading some young adult contemporary books that were written by Black people. I've decided to take on 5 of them, I know. So the first book we are going to read in this vlog is Not So Pure and Simple by Lamar Gills. This is a book that I literally hauled 3 or 4 years ago. Like I think I got this book either during the pandemic, like the start of the pandemic, or before. I've owned this book for a really long time, but my saying is every book has its day, and finally I am going to read Not So Pure and Simple. The next book we are going to read after that is Opposite of Always by Justin A. Reynolds. I cannot wait to read this. I don't remember what any of these books are about. I think these people might be dead in this book. I don't know. Like I vaguely remember the synopsis of books, but at this point, I can't tell you nothing. The book we're going to read after that is going to be When You Were Everything by Ashley Woodfolk. I have read a short story collection where Ashley Woodfolk wrote in. Did Ashley Woodfolk write in Blackout or Whiteout? Maybe. Ashley Woodfolk, I'm going to read this book. These books have been sitting on my bookshelf for so long. I'm so happy I'm going to get to them. And the next book we have is The Voting Booth. Do you remember when I hauled this one, As Told by Kenya? We're going to read The Voting Booth by Brandy Colbert. And the last book we are going to read is Play Another Love Song. This is actually a newer purchase that I got my hands on, I think, at the end of last year. So those are the books we are going to read. I'm going to take on 5 books this week, and let's just see how they go. But we are going to start with Not So Pure and Simple. So it is a Monday. I have to do my Monday Patreon podcast. I got some grocery shopping to do because I didn't even leave my house this weekend. I have a video for As Told by Kenya I have to film. Monday is just a really big catch-up day for me, and it really sets the tone for the rest of my week, because if I do my Mondays right, the rest of the week is easier. But if my Mondays go wrong, I'm playing catch-up the whole week, so I might as well just put my head down and get this stuff done. But anyways, I will talk to you guys later when I get some of Not So Pure and Simple read, okay? You guys, it is the end of the day. Yes, I am wearing the merch down below. Oh my gosh, I need to show you guys the totes and the cup. I've always showed you the sweatshirt. Let me get the tote and the cups for you. So we have Lily Reads tote. So it's the same thing as this, but it is in tote form. I really like how the totes came out. I feel like the book is more vibrant on the totes than it is in the sweatshirt, but because like you can even kind of see like this leans kind of like purpley and this is more pinky. But I absolutely love the totes, falling in love with every book. And the mugs, which have been a fan favorite, you can't see because of the light, but falling in love with every book. Then it has Lily Reed's book club in the back. For my anniversary, I wanted a Smeg coffee maker. I want to start brewing coffee. I want to get into brewing coffee this year. And so, like, I do espresso, like, as you guys can tell in the start of, like, every single vlog. I do espresso, but I want to start doing drip coffee. And so I'm going to start using my mug once my Smeg gets here. And so, yeah, this is going to be exciting to use. Anyways, I am here for an initial update on Not So Pure and Simple. I was going to come and talk to you guys about this book at the 50-page mark, but I just read up to page 100 because I was in it so much. So in this book, we are following a main character named Dell. Dell lives in this suburban Virginia town. There's a lot of Black people. They go to church, and this whole thing is centering around Dell being in church, and he has a crush on his classmate / member of his church. Her name is Kiera. Kiera has never been single a day in her life. She has always had a boyfriend since he's known Kiera, and now they're in high school, and she has finally broken up with her boyfriend. He doesn't know why she broke up with her boyfriend, but she has broken up with her boyfriend, and he feels like this is his time. So his mom has newly gotten into church. They usually didn't go to church, but now she goes to church. He goes to church with her because he's forced to. And basically, at church, he just stares at her, but he is okay with that because he says this is his time. This is his time to finally get the girl. She broke up with her boyfriend, and now he's going to get the girl. So he has come up with this whole scheme to ask her out while they're at church. He's going to talk to her parents, and while the parents are talking to him, she's going to come over, and he's going to be like, hey, we should go out. Well, he sees that she gets up and goes to the front of the church, and he's like, wait a minute, where's she going? So he gets up and goes to the front of the church with her, and a bunch of other high school students also go to the front of the church. So he's like, okay, I guess they doing something, I'll do it too. And they say, thanks all of you guys for joining the Purity Club at church. What made you join the Purity Club? And they put the mic to his face, and he's just like, 'cause I love God. But he doesn't want to join the Purity Club. He just wants to ask Kiera out. So now he is forced to go to this Purity Club at church. But things are happening at school too, because they all go to this same school, and there's some interesting things surrounded by why Kiera and the boyfriend, who's like the star of like either the football team or something team, why they broke up. There's also this thing that happened at their school called like, it was like the Baby Getters Club, because a bunch of girls got pregnant at their school at the same time, giving pregnancy pack, but it really wasn't that. There was a winter break, and none of the kids went to school for like a week. There was like a snowstorm, but the parents still went to work. So there was like a week where everyone was kind of free to do what they want, and people was having sex. So a few people got pregnant, but the news turned it into this whole, there's a pregnancy pack, there's a pregnancy pack. And so everybody kind of ran with that story, but it's not the truth. And so now at school, they're teaching these sex education classes, but these sex education classes directly differ from this Purity Club class, because our main character, Dell, he's in both of them. He's in the sex ed class and he's in the Purity class, and he sees that everything that the Purity class is teaching is the direct opposite of what the sex ed class is teaching. So the sex ed class is teaching like safe sex, condoms, all that, but the Purity Club is teaching like don't have no sex at all. And he's like, this is weird. Anyways, that's pretty much what's going on, right? This book is so scandalous. This book is so scandalous. This book is so funny. What I love about YA contemporary when it's done well, you get to see black children on the page talking like black kids. This main character, Dale, talks exactly like the black kids I grew up with. They talk like me. They have the same conversations I was having and all that stuff. And it just feels really good. This book is funny. And there's so much going on. There's so much going on. There's some conspiracy going on in this town that we have to get to the root of. Something's going on with his mother. I think we might have to get to the root of. There's just so much going on. And then like there's kind of a love triangle. I feel like way in the back somewhere there might be a love triangle going on, but stay with me. I can't fully tell you what's going on. There's a lot of characters in this book. He has a best friend. He has a boy that's trying to help him get Kiera because he's friends with Kiera. They both are in the purity pack together. Something's going on with his parents we know nothing about. There's just a lot going on and all of it is enjoyable. So I will not come talk to you guys until I finish this book. But just know I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Just on page 100. But it's so good. This is what YA contemporary, black YA contemporary is made of. When it is just working like this, God, I love it. God, I love it. Anyways, it is nighttime, like really nighttime. Like I already have dinner in the oven and everything. So I'm about to go take a shower and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace. Ramen is on the docket today for lunch. I'm going to eat that. I'm going to watch some type of black movie during Black History Month. I try to watch either black movies that I love or black movies that I haven't seen. So I'm going to do that, eat that, and then I'm going to do a reading sprint to finish this book. I have made it to page 202 of this book, so I have about 180 pages left. I'm gonna dedicate my night to finishing this up, and I will come get my final thoughts as we speak. I am still enjoying this book. I'm enjoying this book more than I was enjoying it at the beginning. I think we're shaping up for a 4.5 5-star read, but yeah, I'm gonna wait for my ramen to cool down. I need a spoon for my broth. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys when I finish. Not so pure and simple. I need to do my nails too. So that's another thing. We might read an audiobook while I do my nails because I can't do bare nails. I look terrible. Anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Peace. Hello, you guys. I am here to give my final update on Not So Pure and Simple. It is the middle of the night, which I guess at this point is my preferred time to finish a book. We got a 5-star right out the gate. We got a 5 out of 5 star. This is what black YA contemporary is all about. It had a good message to it. It was funny. It had romantic elements. And I enjoyed everything about it. I love when YA contemporary takes on pressing topics, and I think the topic in this book is more timely than ever. We as a country and as a society are moving into this hyper religious to the point of controlling culture where people are allowing their religious views to shape how we teach children, how we see children, how we believe children should behave, the stuff we allow children to consume, and all of that. And I am not here to be like religion sucks, religion is terrible. What I am here to say is that we need to allow children to have their own relationship with faith and religion and to make their own choices. Of course, you can steer them in certain directions, but there's a time for children to become their own people. And a lot of times with that religious structure, specifically talking about Christianity in this book, there becomes shame. We also have this hyper surveillance culture, and all of these things come together. This hyper religious culture, this hyper surveillance culture, this purity culture, all of those things come together. And it teaches children shame. It teaches them to be ashamed of their body, to be ashamed of their instincts, to be ashamed of their feelings. And in this book, we deal with things like sex, sexuality, pregnancy, abstinence, all different types of things that children are going through, young adults are going through. And a lot of times when we're teaching all this hyper religious stuff, this hyper purity culture, all this stuff, it doesn't allow children to explore those things in a healthy way. And this book discusses that. We have evangelical talking points being spewed on things like TikTok or on Twitter or on these news sites, and it's being spread as if it's coming from a good place, and not just coming from religious indoctrination. And people are just like, I think, for example, when we're talking about like the type of sex scenes, like sex scenes being in movies or sex scenes being in books or whatever, and you have people being like, I'm just uncomfortable with it. And people don't realize that uncomfortableness usually stems from a place of shame. It's one thing for you not wanting to do something, that's a matter of choice. It's another thing believing that something just shouldn't fundamentally exist. So for example, if you don't want to have sex, you want to practice abstinence, fair enough. It's another thing to be like, other children shouldn't. Other people shouldn't get information about safe sex and how to have sex, or other people shouldn't be able to watch sex scenes on TV. It's another thing when we are trying to censor people. And that's what this book has a really good conversation about. It's about censorship and people using church in order to have state laws. People using church in order to shame people, in order to make people feel bad about the stuff that they enjoy. And what it's leaving is kids being really immature. And I just think that's just a really pressing topic for, I think, what's going on in society right now. When you think of, this book talks about like having children at a young age. So when you think of things like Roe versus Wade being overturned, so much stuff that should just be objective is being turned into subjectivity behind the guise of religion. But people are being disingenuous as to why they feel the way they feel. They're making it seem like, well, this is just my opinion, but really they're evangelicals. They're evangelical Christians, or they have these religious ideals and they're putting those onto other people, and they're making it a matter of morality when it's just a matter of their own personal beliefs, you know? So yeah. Anyways, 5 out of 5 stars. I thought this was really, really good. Anyways, we're going to move on to the next book, which is The Opposite of Always. And I will see you guys in those clips. Okay, you guys, so it is lunchtime. Ignore the fact that it's 5:34. I eat late lunches. I am having some Kraft mac and cheese for lunch. Yeah, that is lunch for today. I do need to come and talk to you guys about The Opposite of Always. I was doing my hair and I've gotten through a very big chunk of this book on audio. So I do need to come and give my thoughts on this book after I eat. So look forward to that. I still have some more stuff to do to my hair. So I might do my hair and finish the entire book and then come and just give all of my thoughts, since we do have 5 books to get through in this video. But I will let you guys know. But just know I am literally like 80% through with this book, okay? Peace. Hello, you guys. I'm here to come give my first and final thoughts on The Opposite of Always by Justin A. Reynolds. I was doing my hair yesterday. I washed my hair, so this was like a 3.5-hour audiobook, and I was able to knock the entire thing out while I was doing my hair and when I was cooking at night. So in this book, we are following a couple named Jack and Kate. So we start in the middle of the book, and we are seeing Jack trying to run and save someone, but he's being arrested by the police and they're telling him he can't go in the hospital. But he runs into the hospital, he jabs something in this girl's leg, and then the story really begins. So we meet Jack. Jack is a high school black boy and he has a crush on his best friend. The only problem is his best friend is dating his other best friend. So he can't really, be with her. But tonight is the night. They're at a party, a college party, and he's going to tell his best friend that he has a crush on her. But when he goes to tell the girl, this best friend, he has a crush, he runs into this girl named Kate. He meets this girl named Kate, and they really hit it off, and they start to talk to one another. He quickly realizes something is off about Kate. Him and Kate don't really, hang out that much. She always has an excuse for why they can't hang out. And so he plays out an entire relationship with this girl. And one day he asks her to prom. But she doesn't show up to prom. And when she doesn't show up to prom, he goes to look for her and he realizes she's dying. And so she dies after he gets to the hospital. And basically his entire week, 2 weeks, month starts all back over again. And he meets Kate again at the party. The only difference is Kate doesn't remember meeting him. So we start going on this time loop. And our character, Jack, he decides he is going to try to save Kate's life. He is going to try to figure out what makes Kate die. And he is going to try to save her. And that's basically what this book is about, this constant time loop, and you're following Jack and Kate in this time loop. I'm going to go ahead and give this book 4.5 out of 5 stars. This book is one of those books that gets better as it keeps going. The heart of this book is not even a love story about Jack and Kate. It's a story about the little things that you can change in your life that will affect everything else. This idea that you're always looking at the bigger picture, but the beauty is in the smaller picture. He keeps going back in time, and it's the little details that you as the reader don't pay attention to that end up being the stuff that matters most. And often, and each timeline he goes into, something is more fucked up than the last. And things just keep going different ways. And what we see is that Jack needs to learn things about himself before he learns things about other people, before he focuses on Kate. Altogether, this book works. I enjoyed it. 4.5 out of 5 stars. Why isn't it getting 5 stars? I'm not over the moon, need to tell everybody about this book, so I'm going to log it as a 4. But this book worked. I enjoyed this book. It's really enjoyable and it's really clever. I can be hit or miss on time loop stories. Time loop stories don't always do it for me because I find them repetitive. And at first, that's how I was feeling about this book. I was like, oh, this is repetitive. But I started to realize what it was doing. I started to realize what it was doing as it was going through the different time loops. And I'm like, oh, this is a lot more interesting than I thought it would be on the surface. The characters are funny. We're following these black characters. They're all funny. It just works. This is what I mean when I say YA was not always this good. I'm so sorry. A decade, 15 years ago, 12 years ago, YA was not this interesting. YA was just very cut and dry, copy and paste. And nowadays, YA just has a lot more complexity to it, a lot more interesting stories. Writers who 100% could be writing adult novels, many of them do write adult novels, are writing YA, and they're adding just more layers and depth to YA. So anyways, we are going to move on to the voting booth, I think, if I'm not a liar. But first, I have to eat my breakfast. I have a croissant. If you don't know, I like to buy pastries at the grocery store, and I make them for the week. I have my coffee. Yes, I do. And my banana. I'll probably see you guys again when I'm making lunch Because a New Year's resolution of mine was to eat lunch in the house at least 3 times a week. I've been doing good at this point. Most times I eat lunch 5 times in the house. I don't go anywhere except for on the weekends. So we'll see. But yeah, we're going to read the voting booth or something. I don't know. We have what, 3 books left? We're going to figure something out. I'll talk to you guys later. Hello, you guys. I am here to come to talk to you guys about the book we're going to read next. Even though I haven't started reading the book we're going to read next, we are going to be reading The Voting Booth. I have made the decision, The Voting Booth it is, because this book is kind of short, not even 300 pages, so I feel like I can read it in like a day. So we already are doing well. We have 2 pretty much 5-star reads. I've been thinking about, there's nothing I can take away from either of those 2 books. Like, they're 5-star reads, you know. I don't know if they're all-time favorite reads, but I enjoy them like to the fullest. I think I could enjoy those books. They did everything I wanted them to do. Anyways, I have my coffee. I'm about to drink my coffee. A little caramel latte action going on. Then I have my croissant and I have my banana breakfast. And yeah, I have to do some Patreon stuff, do a podcast, and I'm actually excited to film. Sometimes you just need to talk some shit. And yeah, I'm just gonna do some work stuff. I need to get my feet done. I still need to do my nails. So there's some stuff that I need to do. But anyways, I'm just coming to tell you we will be reading The Voting Booth next. I will come back when I have thoughts on The Voting Booth. And yeah, peace. Hello, you guys. I need to read. I was supposed to finish this book yesterday and just did not. So I am about to sprint my life away. I have about 180 pages left of this book, and I am about to sit here and read all 180 pages. Now, I am 100 pages in, so I guess I can tell you what this book is about. In this book, we are following 2 characters by the name of Marva and Duke. It is told in dual POVs. Marva is really into politics, and she has waited her whole life to be able to vote, and today is an election day, and so she is ready to go vote. She shows up early to vote. Duke, he had a brother who was killed, we assume. He was also really into politics, so Duke kind of wants to do his brother justice and show up to the polls and vote for the first time, because his brother Julian was always like, you should go vote, you should go do, you know, all of this stuff. Well, Marva, let's switch back to Marva. Marva has a boyfriend who was supposed to help her, like, come to the polls with her and, you know, do all that stuff, but he's not answering her, his phone, and she's kind of disappointed because he's like, he knew this day was important to me. We were supposed to vote together. They're both doing like community activism, so like this was their moment, but he's not answering his phone. Well, Duke and Marva both show up to the same polling place, and Duke has issues voting. He's not registered to vote in that jurisdiction. So Marva steps in because she wants everyone to vote, and she's just like, where are you registered to vote? And so they get to talking, and basically Marva decides she is going to help Duke vote, find out where he's registered to vote, and go help him vote. And that's pretty much what's happening in this book. That sounds kind of boring, but it's actually not boring. Like, they're having conversation, like they're in the car and you're getting to know things about them. It just so happens that voting is like the backdrop to that, them getting to know one another. It's one of those like 2 people don't know each other, end up on a road trip, end up on a journey, you know, and get to know one another. Both of them have skeletons. Both of them have backstories, history, you know, all of that type of stuff going on in their life. And they're going to realize they're better together. One of those types of story. Perfectly enjoyable, easy to read. That's why I think I can sit here and just finish it. Have no beef with it. But before I do go read, I need some coffee. I've not had any coffee this morning, and we gotta change that. I've already made it, so like, no, ooh, why did I zoom y'all in? No coffee B-roll, but boom. Nice little caramel latte for the morning. I'm getting a new coffee maker today. I am about to sit here and I am about to read with my beverage. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the other side of this. You guys, I have finished the voting booth. It took me about an hour and a half to finish, but sometimes that's how you gotta knock out a book. When it comes to like how I'm able to read books fast, I try my best not to read a book more than 3 days. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, use the time in your day. A lot of people do like a lot of scrolling on the phone. So do I. End up watching YouTube videos, end up doing so many other things, but there's so much time in a day if you allow it. And if, like I said, to finish this book, it took an hour and a half. You have an hour and a half. Somewhere in your day, you have an hour and a half. Embrace the sprint. Embrace sitting down and just reading a bunch of pages. And if that's not what you want to do, if you just want to be somebody who reads 1 or 2 books a month, read 20 pages here, 20 pages there. And after 10 days, that adds up to 200, 250 pages read. So that's how I do it. That's how I get books done. I sit down, don't do nothing else except read the book when I have time. And so I finished this book and I still have an entire day ahead of me. It's not even 2 o'clock right now. And I can get in on the next book we're going to read. So, The Voting Booth. I enjoyed this book. Like I said, what I've been really gravitating towards in the young adult world are books that are interesting and enjoyable to read, of course, but also teach a message that I think young adults should have, that are geared towards young kids and the stuff that they are going through. That's why I enjoyed Not So Pure and Simple, because like, yes, me as an adult, these conversations are like, past, beneath me, because like I know all of those types of things, but other kids don't. And that's what I enjoy. I enjoy seeing the world through young people's eyes, seeing the things that they have issues with and how authors use their words to make those kids feel comforted. That's the same thing about the voting booth. Like, a lot of kids, young adults, don't know things about voting. They do not know things about politics. They do not know things about certain social justice stuff. So this book was able to have a contemporary romance element and these 2 kids going through stuff that everyone's going through, but it also was able to put this political lens. It was able to tell you certain things about voting. And like, yes, at times it was heavy-handed, but like, ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm going to go ahead and give this book 4 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed it. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I think we're going to get 4 or 5 stars throughout this entire video. So the next book we are going to read is, you could put a gun in my head and I can't tell you what the name of that next book is. When You Were Mine, When You Were Everything, something like that. We're going to find out in the next clip. I am about to go watch Survivor. I started watching, I know there's a new season of Survivor on right now, I think. I'm on the season before that. I started watching a few episodes and then like other TV came along. And my favorite way to watch Survivor is to like marathon an entire season in a day. So I actually don't even like watching Survivor live. So that's what I'm about to do. It is that time. I'm going to watch Survivor
for the rest of the day. I'm gonna eat me some chicken wings because baby, I want some chicken wings. I have been wanting chicken wings all week, but you guys know I have my can't eat out the house, can't eat lunch outside the house, gotta eat lunch inside the house. So I am so excited to eat some chicken wings. Anyways, the next clip you guys are about to see, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. I've already filmed those clips. Well, the next clip I've already filmed, but then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna be this Kenya. So it's like y'all going in the past in this next clip, even though it's gonna seem like it's later. But then the next clip after that is gonna be me after this. So I haven't even filmed the clip y'all gonna get after that. So then things will go back to normal. It's weird. The continuity of this video is weird because like me reading a book on audio, but like I think I even explain it in that next clip how all of this is working and how the next clip is actually film before the clip you're seeing now. It'll all make sense in the end. It'll all make sense. A little breaking of the fourth wall. But anyways, another winner. We have 3 winners, and it always is. Black young adult contemporary is always a winner for me. I love it. And it's not even a case where I'm like lowering my standards in order to enjoy this. But no, like I rate young adult books the same way I rate adult books because I know I can enjoy young adult. I'm not one of those people. I know a lot of people have been having a conversation about adults reading young adult books and like people trying to change young adult books to appeal to adults, and I think that's annoying too. Like people will say like there's certain things that happen in young adult books and people are just like, oh, this is stupid, this is silly. Like that's the point. The point is for it to be silly. That's what I enjoy about young adult. You get away with things in young adult books you can't get away with in adult books because children act silly, and that's the fun thing about young adult books. I love always the ending of young adult books because they always get so chaotic because being a young adult is chaotic, and that's my favorite thing. So when people get upset at young adult books or don't like young adult books because they get kind of silly at times. Like that's kind of the point. Like kids are silly. I don't know. I think people are harsh on young adult books, but I am not. I can enjoy a young adult book just the same way I can enjoy an adult book. You know? So yeah. Anyways, and I'm also not one of those people who are just like, well, I like new adult. Like, no, I like middle grade books. I can do a middle grade book. I can do a young adult book. I don't really read many new adult. I don't know what I have read that would even fall into new adult. I think a lot of Tiffany D. Jackson's books kind of, well, not really. Grown is a new adult book from Tiffany D. Jackson. I'm trying to think. Maybe With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Escovedo could go new adult, but even then, they're young adults. I don't know. We would have to get into the specificities of like what is new adult and what is young adult, because I do think some young adult leans middle grade, and then you have young adult that can be leaning new adult. But I'm not one of those people who necessarily yearns for new adult because I don't know what people could be wanting out of young adult that they get in new adult that they can't just go get from adult novels. I'm assuming new adult would be like late high school, early college, but like I'm not really thirsty for those types of books, and those types of books exist. And I usually don't like them. I don't really like college-centered stories. That's not really my thing. I like young adult. What can I say? I say all this to say I genuinely enjoy young adult. I genuinely enjoy middle grade and for what they do. So that's why this vlog is working for me. Anyways, I'm gonna go watch Survivor and I'm gonna talk to y'all later. Peace.
Hello, you guys. You can tell by the camera quality, I switched to my big video recording camera and not my vlogging camera. But that is because I was sitting here and I was doing my nails. And while I was doing my nails, I decided to pick up on audio from my library, When You Were Everything by Ashley Woodfolk. I'm out of breath because I ran to go get the book to come up here and talk to you guys. So, in this book, we are following a character named Cleo. Cleo lives in New York City, and when we meet her, we find out she has been skipping school. Cleo has been skipping school because her and her best friend Layla fell out. So we spend this book going back in time, figuring out why Cleo and Layla fell apart as a friendship, and then we are in the present timeline where they have been forced to work together on a school project. She's kind of tutoring Layla, and them trying to build their friendship back and like see what's left of it. We have some other character. There's a boy that she really likes. She's working at a restaurant. There's things going on with her parents, but that's pretty much the story. These two girls that were best friends for a long time breaking apart, and why that happened, and can they come back together. This is really, really good. This is like a YA goodness. I just love, what I love about young adult stories is like they make me feel good because the stakes are so low. Like it's just about a friendship, and most friendships from high school don't go on into like the real, like the rest of your life, but it matters so much to them, and that's what I appreciate. Like what they're falling out over is such like a high school thing to fall out over, and it just rings true to me. Like it reads as true. This is how children act, and I am enjoying it. There's some moments when we get to why they fell out, what caused them not to be friends. Baby, my mouth was open wide. Like, it's just really good. And I like that all the characters are flawed in their own way. So usually in a story like this, our main character, Cleo, because that's the only POV we get, she would kind of be all wrong. That's usually how these types of stories go. Like, she did something wrong and everything's on her and she needs to fix it. And Cleo did do her dirt. She did do her dirt. But Layla also needs to take responsibility for the friendship crumbling. And it's just really, really good. The romance aspect of this is really cute, really pure. There's some good dialogue that's going on in this. I am enjoying this. So I have, I think, an hour and a half probably left on the audiobook, so I'll probably just eat at that throughout the day while I'm doing stuff. So I'm gonna fully read this on audio. My nails are done because Valentine's Day is coming up. I decided to give the girls a little pink moment, and yeah, I actually have a date tonight. Tonight is Friday, by the way. I have a date tonight, so I kind of need to get ready for that. But before I get ready for that, I have to film Kenya Has Thoughts, which goes up on As Told by Kenya, as probably most of you know. So I gotta film that. I gotta do some work stuff, and then I can start enjoying my Friday, figure out what I'm gonna do about my hair tonight, what I'm gonna wear tonight. I ain't thinking about, because Valentine's Day is next week, I just don't feel the need to do too much on tonight. Like, it's gonna be a quick little beat. I'm probably gonna give the girls a sweater. Like, I'm not doing too much. I'll do too much on Valentine's Day. But yeah. Anyways, I will talk to you guys when I finish this and get my final thoughts, because then we'll have one more book that we need to talk about. I'm lying. It's according to when I put where I put the voting booth video. So like, you'll know from the voting booth clips that my nails are already done. So you'll know if I put the voting booth video clips first because my nails are done. But that's the way I told you I was going to read them, because I'm actually, at this current moment, I'm at the halfway point of the voting booth, but I haven't filmed the clip for the voting booth because I read it last night. So it's gonna seem like, so it should go before, but my nails are already done. So like, ignore the continuity. Can we ignore the continuity and act like there's only one book left, even though I'll probably finish this book before I finish the voting booth, even though I started the voting booth first. It's just a thing. It's the vlog. That's a little behind the scenes on how these clips get to working and put together, okay? Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace. Guys, I'm so sorry. You can hear my humidifier going. I cook fish, want to get the smell out of the house by the morning, so the humidifier is going. But I need to come and give you my final thoughts on When You Were Everything by Ashley Woodfolk. I did read this completely on audio, and I'm going to go ahead and give this book 4 out of 5 stars. What I enjoyed the most about this book was the complex friendship going on in this book. Like, I love how young adult novels get to be like ridiculous, like because children are ridiculous and children make bad choices. The relationship between these two women, two girls, is so chaotic. They do the strangest things and say the strangest things to one another because they're just children. I just like this story about them navigating that relationship and trying to see if they should be together. There was an interesting thing about her parents and what her parents were going through. The reason why this book doesn't get 5 stars is because I do feel like that was a little underdeveloped. There was a lot of things going on in this book. You had a relationship, there was a boy she liked, obviously the stuff with the friendship, then there was like personal stuff, and then there was stuff with her family. There was a lot going on, and so obviously some things are going to get dropped because this is not a long book. So that's why it would lose stars, but I was in it the entire time. This was scandalous. This was scandalous. I enjoyed it. So I'm going to go ahead and give this book 4 out of 5 stars. You guys, we have gotten a 5-star, a 5-star, a 4-star, and a 4-star. Like, what do you want me to do? Play another love song. This is the most recent book. It's so crazy. All the books that we've read in this video, I have had for so long. And I'm so happy that now I get to put them on my completed side of my bookshelf because it's just like, I finally read them. But this book I got last year. I got it at the end of last year. So this is like the newest book. So I'm going to do a whole day of reading tomorrow. I'm going to read this all in one day. And that'll wrap up the video. So I'll see you guys in the morning. It's time for me to get to bed. I watched Survivor all day. And yeah, I'm going to bed. I will see you guys in the morning. Peace. You guys, I'm here to wrap up this vlog. So I just finished Play Another Love Song. This book was fine. It was, it wasn't fleshed out. It wasn't long enough. So like there's nothing for me to really like sink my teeth into and like deeply enjoy about this book, but it was fine. I enjoyed the romance aspect of this. I enjoyed this, self-esteem aspect. It just wasn't written as well as I would want it to be. So I am going to give this book 3 stars, but I am not going to let that take away from this video because this is an adult book. They're old. That's another thing. Yes, these characters are adults, but something about them actually, maybe it's because I read so much young adult this week, something about them do read kind of young, even though they're like post-college. So I don't know, but yeah, wasn't for me. But I'm going to consider these books to be the actual video because this was reading young adult contemporary. So the first book that we read was Not So Pure and Simple. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. Still stand on it. Still found this book really, really enjoyable. Happy that I picked it up when I did because I honestly have never seen this book again since I picked it up. Haven't seen it in the bookstore again. Haven't seen anyone talk about it. So I'm happy that I picked it up. And if Lamar Gills makes any more young adult of this vein, I will pick it up. The next one was The Opposite of Always. 4.5 out of 5 stars. Read this on audio. Still enjoyed it. Was a good time. You should pick it up. That book was pretty popular when it came out though. The next book that I read was The Voting Booth. This book was good. It had a good message. I enjoyed myself. It was short. 4 out of 5 stars. And then the last book was When You Were Everything. It was good to read a story about young adult friendships. Not everything has to do with romance. Young adult friendships and getting through that. So I enjoyed this. 4 out of 5 stars. And those were the books that we read in this video. I will see you guys next week for another vlog, and